So here is Munson at the Area 3 preliminary championships. And this is the same test that we did at Poplar almost 4 weeks ago. So coming in the test, coming straight down the center line, I'm coming in at the rising trot because I'm doing a lengthen right across the diagonal. Now I was being a little silly about spooking at the judge at sea. I don't know why. So I had to keep his attention, and every now and then some tension would creep in, but I was happy with the lengthen. And now I'm going into sitting trot for my lateral work. We do a leg yield to the right, so he's moving off my left leg. And you want a little bit of left bend, but you want the horses typically straight, and you see the crossover from the hind leg. Then I prepare him for the canter transition. The nice thing about Munson is he is very obedient, and I can be pretty accurate as well on him. However, he did feel a little tight in the left lead, so you'll see that little tail swish every now and then. That back just gets a little tight on me, so I'm just having to supple him and try to keep him relaxed. You'll see just right there, trying to get him soft over the back during the canter loop. Trying to ride into my corners. Now the second corner here, he kind of drops that left hind in, and that's just that tension right there. I couldn't quite make him wrap around my leg. So coming to the canter trot canter transition at X, it's fairly accurate and very smooth. And again, we're going to do a medium canter at C on the 20 meter. So trying to make sure I show the difference. And his head wag has improved. He still does it a little bit, but it's going away as he gets stronger and stronger. And we're doing another canter loop. Want to make sure my haunches are not trailing. Not trailing, I mean leading. That's what I meant to say. Positioning in the shoulder 4. Come across the diagonal now for another trot transition at X, and I'm going to stay in the sitting trot this time because I have to prepare for the halt at C. So my goal is to have my halt very accurate with my leg over the center of the letter. Just kind of a little late and not quite square. We go into our back, just fairly obedient, and then he started to get a little crooked, so I was trying to get him out of that. Now we proceed into our walk and then into our free walk. Munson can kind of curl a little bit. He doesn't, still working on taking the contact in that free walk, and I felt like this is a little bit better for him. He is pretty swingy through the walk. You can see there's no tension. Probably need a little bit more overstep, so engagement from the hind leg. You watch where the hind leg lands. You want it to overstep the footfall of the front leg. Now preparing him to trot. It's a pretty smooth transition. Again, back down the center line for a leg yield to the left. So he's moving off my right leg. You see the crossover. He's a little sticky, so the wanting to move forward this way, you can feel he just gets a little stuck, but it's improving a lot more. And now we're working for our stretchy trot serpentine. And again, that taking that contact, he's pretty good there. I asked for a half halt, and he really half halted. But it is a nice feeling to ride a horse that's pretty relaxed for the most part. He didn't change in the tempo at all, and he was really listening to my aids. Now I'm going to prepare him for our center line. Overall, I was very pleased. It was a very solid test, and this was actually Munson's personal best with a score of a 27. So on to the cross country. Coming to the first fence, you see I'm coming at a little bit of an angle.
Yeah,
Caught a little bit of the flyer to the first fence.
Good boy, though.
The ground was a little firmer than I'd like, so just because we haven't had any rain, but they did a good job of trying to water and aerate. You can see, though, my lines are going to be pretty tight, so I'm going to hug that left side because I have to come back kind of left turn to this fence number 3. Now, our next combination is a big water fairly early on, so I wasn't quite sure how Munson was going to handle it, especially considering he's had some water confidence issues. So I'm coming through the woods here. It's kind of light to dark. There's kind of some things that kind of can impress the horse. And here you can really see how dark it is in the trees. And then we come out to the big canoe. But I felt him with Munson. You have to just kind of really stay positive. He's not the type of horse you can kind of muscle. And I felt him jump the canoe and felt really kind of positive and kind of took me a little bit to the water. And I thought, okay, we're on track now. And he gave me a really good feeling jumping out through the skinny. Now heading up, we had another hut fence. And we're coming up to a combination of angled houses on the one stride, which walked in a little bit of a longer step. So you had to make sure you stayed pretty positive in between. But the nice thing about Munson is he does travel pretty uphill, and because he is a little spooky, it allows me to just keep riding him, and I don't have to do too many adjustments. So you can see there he kind of spooks at a little bush on the jump. And he jumps that table lovely. Coming up to the second water. So again here, you'll see as I'm galloping, he kind of does a little spook. And again, because on the spooky horses, you really have to ignore that and help keep their focus. And he's getting better and better about it. But now I come to the water. I found a great shot to the first table and then not a very good distance in the water, but I just kind of try to stay out of his way, keep my leg on and holds the mane. And then he's pretty perfect through the 2 stride to the corner. I was just so pleased at his confidence level, and he's willing to trust me now, and we're starting to really develop a really good relationship. So this course was really fun because I was able just to let him jump the fences out of stride because he stayed in the proper balance. And because of that, we made time pretty easily, even though I really wasn't trying to necessarily go for time. So here I'm coming down to the tricaner. And again, a tricaner fence, you ride on the forward stride. You really don't want to pick. You don't really worry about finding a distance. And then here I kind of cut across to save some ground. I didn't want to go too much because, again, they did work on preparing the ground for us. Coming to the coffin, make sure I have him balanced, stay back behind him, and allow him to kind of look, especially with the peaky horses. You just sometimes have to give them the time. And now we canter on up the hill to another table. And he's such a quick horse. So again, kind of making time for him can be easy, especially when you have a smooth ride. And again, just everything was kind of coming up perfectly out of stride. And it really helps when you're kind of both in that good rhythm, because it can be really, really easy. Coming to this combination, it's kind of like a sunken road type thing. You had some undulating ground here to a 3 stride. He did that really well. Now heading on down to another tricaner that's kind of in the dark. He's feeling really confident right now, so I'm just kind of keep my horses rolling here. I don't really want to take a pick. He jumps out right at the base. And now we kind of canter past the big first water, and I'm going to be coming up the hill. And kind of the final combination is the stone wall to another roll top, which was in the 4 stride. He does that pretty nicely. And then we have to come down this hill to the last jump. So I really didn't want to go down this. I was trying to make him go slower than that because, again, the ground was firm. But he jumped the last fence, and he was great. Had a really great round. So after cross country, that actually put us into first place. So I was thinking, okay, well, I have a rail in hand coming to the first fence, and then I start to feel Munson poop. And I'm like, uh-oh. And just because he started pooping kind of caught the first rail with the hind leg. So that's kind of disappointing to take the first fence. And then that puts you under a little bit of pressure to then try to jump the rest of the round clean. So at that second oxer, he kind of punched through it a little bit. So I had to tell him, hey, buddy, kind of get on the hind end a little bit. And he jumps this oxer beautifully. And again, he's a tricky horse because he's funny in his head a little bit about his confidence and what he spooks at and his focus. So he jumps lovely through the in and out. But again, I feel like our partnership is getting better and better. And he only does a little bit of the hollow panic canter right there where he gets a little inverted. And now I was able to press him forward, and then right here, all I said the word was steady, and he came right back. So that was a really good feeling. And then coming to this triple combination, again, I could kind of get the gappy one, and then I could tell him ho, and he's really listening and balancing. And now through the corners, I'm going to try to keep his shape. Coming to the last fence, I thought I had it, and I was like, yes, you did it. We jumped, we had only the one rail. And then I was like, oh no, because I didn't hear it on the oxer. It was just the slightest roll, and that jump had been coming down a lot. So I thought, oh man, I lost it. But then I realized that they announced that I was first again. So it was kind of a roller coaster of motions of where I thought I lost it, and then I thought I won it, I thought I lost it, and then I won it again. So it was great. It was a really good weekend on Munson. Very proud of him.